let's take this a step further, and we wanted to create a next function which can calculate your salary for an entire year. Basically, you can just go ahead and multiply this by 12, but we don't wanted to do that. We wanted to learn what is lambda functions and what is anonymous function, nameless function. So we are going to learn this. So now for that, we wanted to create a new function called year pay. So for that, we are going to name this year pay. See, whatever the month pay that we are getting, we wanted to into that month pay by 12. So whatever the value that we are going to get by intoing this 2, we wanted to store it into a variable called year, because you'll get your year's pay when you into that 2, right? So now we wanted to print out the value what you have over here. So for now, we are going to just give this value right over here, and we wanted to have this positional argument right over here. So we'll call this int month pay. So now the error has been fixed, and now you can directly just go ahead and call this function right over here, and after that provide the value that you have got over here. So we'll provide the value 1176, and after that end the statement and run the application. So now you have got your entire year salary. So why have we created this function? So the reason that we have created this function, because we wanted to make this function a nameless function. So how you can do that? So for now, we are going to replace all of this part right now, take out this entire part, and after that just delete this function because we don't need it. Place this function into our main application. This function will have no name, right? So we wanted to give this function, because every function and every class is an object in this programming language. So this function is also an object. So you can name this function anything you want. So you can use a variable, or you can use a data type call function, because this is a function, let's use function, why not, right? So we'll call this here, and after that our function, we wanted to just move it a bit further. We have month pay is 2. So we are just returning out some sort of a value over here. So we don't want it to print out, we wanted to get the value. So we have learned about returning a value. So for that, we are going to use a return keyword, and after that here, and end the statement again with a semicolon. So now if you notice something out here, we can just trim down this function to a lot extent. How you can do that? Delete this part, and we are going to just cut this part. So we'll use a shorthand operator which is called fat arrow, this shorthand operator, and whatever the value that we are going to get from this part, month into 12, we are going to store this in a year, right? So for now, we wanted to call this year function. So for that, we are going to call year, and after that provide the value that we are going to get eventually from here. So we wanted to provide that value right now, 1176, and after that run this application. So we don't have any print value right over here. So we wanted to manually print out this value and run the application. So now you have got your entire year salary. So we are manually providing the value right over here, and I don't want to do that. What we wanted to do is that we wanted to see if we can insert this function onto this function, directly access this function, and get the value that we wanted to get, because we wanted to have this value, and we are having this value right over here. So now we are going to learn about what is called higher order function, a function which takes another function as a parameter. We call that a higher order function. So just remove these curly brackets right now. After you have removed these curly brackets, we wanted to have another function, another parameter called as function. So for that, we are going to use a data type call function, and after that give the function name whatever you wanted to give your function name. So we are going to call this my function. So now we have given this a name of my function. We are going to just delete that, and after that call this again, and now we have something called as hours and days in a week. So we are working 8 hours a day, we are working 5 days a week, and we wanted to pass a function right over here. So how we can pass the function right over here? So we have a function name called year. So we are just gonna copy paste this function. So we have an error right over here. So why is that we have an error right over here? Is because this function has to be already present in the application for it to be a part of another function. So we have this function right over here. So now what we wanted to have is we wanted to have this function before our function. So that's the reason we are going to cut this entire function and paste it right over here. Our error is fixed, print this value, and now we wanted to access this function. So how you can access this? It's really simple. Just go ahead, type your function name, and after that on the parenthesis, we wanted to provide the value that we were providing right over here before this part right over here. So what is the value that we are providing? We are just entering month times 12. So now we can just go ahead and provide this value directly right over here, and now we are going to just cut this part right now and paste this part right over here. I have something called as my function. So we have to change this to my function, and after that this value should be replaced by month. If you hit run right now, your application will run successfully, and now you have seen how to create a function which takes another function as a parameter. It's known as higher order function. So this is how we have simply added another function into our existing function. So this is it for the functions part.